Yes, it's true. Life is good. It's terrible music, fantastic podcast. We call it the Horse Racing Happy Hour. Lou Yerbo hanging out with you, our weekly tour around the country. And of course, we are headed to the great state of Ohio for this weekend's festivities up there at Thistledown, the Ohio Derby Grade 3 event. $500,000 on the line for 3-year-olds. And Bob Roberts, who is always so kind as to join us this week. Every year, he is not whitewater rafting. He is not golfing with his grandsons.
Whoa.
No excuses this year, Bob. How are you?
Wow, good for you.
There is a moment, Bob, where you actually did say to me, I'm going whitewater rafting. This might be my last time talking about the Ohio Derby. How was that experience? Was it good?
I'm telling you, this is you go down the West Virginia Turnpike and you make a left at Beckley and you go through the hollers and all of a sudden you come upon this campsite, beautiful cabins, air conditioning, Wi-Fi, television. And then the next morning you get on some rickety school bus and they take you down to the shore and lay the truth on you. You might not come back. The guy says, is everybody here a good swimmer? I go, when the hell did swimming get involved here? Then they tell you, by the way, if the raft overturns, don't swim to the left. How do they know which way I'm going to be facing when I get dumped in the water? Come on. My God almighty.
I don't even know what that means.
I know. And we survived. And my grandsons, they picked the hardest course. Guy says, we can go through the middle, but we might tip over. I go, oh my God. But I made it. Had a big steak dinner and came home the next day.
Well, there you go. How's the golf game? You still playing?
You know, I just played a friend of mine. He's a track announcer at Prairie Meadows. His name is Bobby Newman.
Of course.
And in his spare time, he used to be the track announcer at Thistle. He rates golf courses for Golf Digest. So he's originally from LA. And the reason you'll know why I'm telling you that, he flew from Des Moines to Pittsburgh. I drove from my house to the airport in Pittsburgh, 2 hours, picked him up at the airport. He went and rated a golf course called Old Stonebrook or something. The clubhouse is a castle.
Awesome.
And I came within this much of a hole in one.
Oh.
And I'm a hack. And then after the golf, we showered, went downtown, and he got to see his beloved Dodgers play the Pirates. And then I drove home.
Sounds like a win. Sounds like a nice day, Bob.
It was a great day. I got to see Ohtani play. I'd never seen him play before. Have you?
No, not in person. I talk about him a lot on my radio show, though. He's so different than what we've ever seen.
Oh my God. And I saw Skeens pitch. He was mediocre. It was 2-2 after 6 innings. Top of the 7th, the Dodgers scored 10.
So and we decided Skeens and Ohtani in the same game.
Yeah, and they missed by 1 day of pitching against each other. Yeah, it was pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
That is as good as it gets there.
Well, I agree. All right.
Our standing authority in Northeast Ohio on this ridiculous podcast, Bob, tell the people who you are, where you used to work, and all the good things.
Okay, I was in prison for 25. No, I went from the Cleveland Press to the Cleveland Plain Dealer. I covered racing at Thistledown for 40 years.
Yes, you did.
And my other passion is soccer, and I was lucky enough to cover 3 World Cups. The U.S. men here in 94. I covered the World Cup in France in 98. 5 weeks on the Cleveland Plain Dealer's dime in France. That was fun. And then I covered the Women's World Cup when I got back. So I've covered 3. In fact, I'm just watching, I'm sure you really care. I just watched the tie game between the Czech Republic and South Africa. Are you excited?
I enjoy soccer. What are we doing here?
Okay.
I'm into soccer. I have a terrible. Hey, my team just got promoted back to Division 1 of Belgium. You settle down, Bob Roberts.
Oh, Belgium.
You're a little soccer knowledge. Yeah, my family's from a terrible town in Southwest Belgium, and so I root for the terrible soccer team there. And they bragged, Bob, because they were able to stay in the top division for a decade. This is the level of success in my life, is just not failing counts as success. So there you go.
So it's not Anderlecht, is it?
It's not. No.
See, I know the best player. Lukaku plays in Italy. I know. Right, I know. Are you watching the World Cup? Are you watching the games?
Absolutely.
I love it. I love every minute of it. I wanted to go to a game, but the prices, come on.
It is ridiculous. Are you able to keep up on like these Germans and Japanese discovering American culture, especially in the Deep South, and how much they love it? Have you been able to keep up on with those things? Oh, it's amazing. You got to check it out, Bob. At some point, jump over to YouTube or something. They're going to they're going to Buc-ee's. They're trying Texas barbecue. And these guys, they don't know what to do, of course, and neither do us. Neither do any of us, to be
right.
fair. But,
Louis, the closest game to me, the closest game would have been to drive to Toronto, 4.5 hours away. And I figured, let me pick the worst game to see what they want for tickets. Ghana against Panama.
Yeah.
Nosebleed seats, 800. Come on. What am I'm not going to do that. Get out of here. You can bet 800 on a horse and really get sick. Right.
Are you still handicapping in Northfield?
You know what I do now? I work for, I don't want no full-time jobs at all. I'm 78 years old. But I do work for ExpressBet during the Gulfstream meet and the Saratoga meet. I put out a sheet for these ExpressBet select players called Equine Rewind. And I watch all the races like I'm a football coach, doing the film on the line. And I put out a sheet every day that they race about who had a good trip last time, bad trip, track bias. So, yeah, I'm staying pretty busy. Yeah.
Good.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
We're gonna handicap like we do every single year with Bob. I wanted to ask, and I always ask you to go ahead and tell the stories of who the Ohio races especially are named after and all of those things. But when you were covering, you told me a story once that I absolutely adored. That the competing newspapers would have their handicappers 2 seats apart with one seat in the middle there at Thistle. And you had to sit next to your main competition, essentially looking down the whole time. What was his name and what was that like?
Well, it's funny you bring that up because I wrote a note for us to talk about. His name was George Lewis. I was at the Cleveland Press. I replaced a guy named Izzy Newborn, who, poor guy, died of a heart attack. So I got his job within a couple of years of him dying. So it was me at the press against George Lewis at the Plain Dealer. George would sit in that press box and handicap for 6 hours a day. And then put a piece of paper in the typewriter and do like 6 graphs on whatever the 8th race was. One day, by the way, the 8th race on Saturday, the George Lewis Memorial.
That's why I asked.
One day, we agree on 8 of the 9 picks in each other's papers on top. Our top picks, 8 out of 9. The only disagreement was a maiden special weight race, bunch of first-time starters. We had different horses. I go by the press box window a little bit away from him to watch the race, and our 2 horses are going at it head and head. And his horse beats mine. So all I can have is an 8-bagger. He'll have a 9-bagger. So I'm walking back to my desk, and he said, sharp old son of a gun, he goes, you can go home now.
He was counting.
I wanted to kill him. And he was very hard to beat because he averaged like 3 winners a day. It was unbelievable. So I told everybody in the press box on the level, I go, first time I beat this guy for a meet, I'm going to go out and get his pizzas. So closing day of the meet, I had to go to like the 5th race to ice them out. And I immediately went to the local pizza joint and I got a couple of 8 cuts and I came back and we're all eating pizza. I go, give me that box. And I says, George, held the box in front of him. I go, would you like a slice? He goes, no, I don't think so. He knew what that pizza meant.
Oh, man. Well, let's do some handicapping, and we will handicap first up the race named for George Lewis. It's the George Lewis Memorial. As you mentioned, race 8 there on Saturday at Thistledown. By the way, we're talking with Bob Roberts. He was with the Plain Dealer for many years there in Cleveland. Appreciate him doing his annual visit with us here on the Horse Racing Happy Hour. Mile and a 16th. Only a dirt course there at Thistle, of course, but this is 3 and up for accredited Ohio foals. And Bob, if you remember last year, this Pick 5 sequence exploded last year. We had multiple horses, I think at 50-1 or longer in these first 3 races, in these Ohio races last year. Do you see a similar pattern here this year, or do you think there's more favorites in our first
It could be more. The horse that won last year's George Lewis Memorial easily is back in the race, and he's in pretty good form. The 9 horse, Villian. So, and this is Tim Ham. He's like the top trainer there. He's got a couple in this race. I think that horse is going to be hard to beat. They made him 9-5 on the morning line. And gee, look who picked up the mount. Jose Ortiz. Huh?
No big deal.
So,
no big deal.
No big deal. He's going to get that guy. I think he's the only out of towner. Take him. No. Gaffleone's in the race too.
He's in the race too. Yep.
Yeah. So Tim Ham lined up Jose Ortiz and Gaffalione. They can trust Ham because he runs horses in Florida in the winter. He has horses at Churchill, so they know that he's a competent horseman. So I think Ham probably could run 1-2 in this race with Villa in the 9 and Shadowy the 6. What do you got something different you like?
I don't. I think Villian is very much the favorite here. I'm always fascinated in these races, though, Bob, by horses like, let's say, Ronnie's second win here, the 10 horse out of the Klein barn. He's another trainer that, frankly, hits the board a ton.
Yeah.
And does win those races up there. I think because those out of town jocks are on these other horses, you're going to get prices on horses like this. I think he could be a 12-1 by the time we get there. And we saw last out what this horse does best, and that is sprint. Showed up really well, 3 for 6 lifetime there at Thistle as well. Those are the kinds of horses I'm looking for value on days like this.
Yeah, I'm with you. When I saw the 3 for 6 with a second, that makes me want. I mean, I'm not going to be betting the 6 and the 9. I mean, you can get a 6, 9, 10 exact in try box, but if I had to make a win bet, I'd be with you. I'd be with you in that race.
I think that horse is interesting, and you know the course better than I do. The outside post there, I usually don't think of that as a negative in sprints. Is it a negative at Thistledown?
No. No, not at all. No.
Okay.
Thistledown over the centuries has always been a speed favoring racetrack, and breaking from the outside just makes you even better. No problem at all. No,
in-state company last time.
Yeah,
yep.
It's the rail that I always worry about. That could be difficult. So yeah, but that looks like the way to go in that race. Box those 3 and bet the 10 to win.
There you go, 9, 6, and 10 on top. Especially if we get 8-1 or longer, which I think is very much on the table there for sure.
Right.
Casual Attire is also in here for Tim Ham. He gets Rocker Bowen for that one. Those two, an unbeatable combination, 26%, a massive sample size with them as well. Horse has been working at Belterra Park, but does have 2 wins over the surface as well. Race 9 is the Daniel Stearns Cleveland Gold Cup. I remember his story, Bob, but it's our Ohio Derby weekend episode, so I'd love you to tell it again. Who was Daniel Stearns?
Doc Stearns he was a vet in Euclid, Ohio, and which is not too far from the track on the way to downtown. And he bred and raced.
Yep.
Yeah, he bred and trained a ton of horses, and he was also president of the HBPA. He would give these long-winded speeches. When he would stand up at the commission meetings, everybody would groan. But he was a good guy. His problem was he wanted to breed 5-cent mares to 10-cent stallions, and it didn't work out for the most part. But he was great at naming horses. He named a horse Whistler's father. Forget Whistler's mother. He named a horse Whistler's father. So I love Doc. Yeah, he was a good guy.
Leave the mothers out of this. That's exactly right. The Cleveland Gold Cup is run over 1 mile and an eighth on the dirt course there. It is for 3-year-olds that are Ohio registered foals. An interesting field in here. We do have a big favorite in Mark My Words at 2-1, but Water into Wine, Jose Ortiz picks up the mount. We saw on the green carpet last off, which was usually run on the grass there at Belterra, where they do have a turf course, but was washed off onto the dirt. So obviously they're going to take another stab here. I like that move for Water into Wine. Who else do you like in here, Bob?
Well, I mean, Tim Ham's got 3 in here and locked up the good jockeys. What I like about Mark My Words is he's been at Thistledown 3 times and he's got 2 wins. And Bob Gorham was a regular in Michigan for years. And the best thing that happened to him was Detroit Racing went out of business because since he switched to Ohio and Indiana, I guess, he has been kicking. He's been winning left and right. And he's winning at 27% at this meet, 21% for the year. This guy, I don't think he's a vet. Somebody in his family's a vet, but he's a very, very good horseman. And he breeds it. He bred this one and runs in Marion. I don't know if Marion's his wife or his sister, but this guy really gets the job done. So I'd probably bet Mark My Words and hope they overbet a Tim Ham horse.
No, that's exactly right. I was going to say, son of 1,000 Words here, by the way, is an Ohio bred. So that's that Pioneer of the Nile line there for Mark My Words. But it is it's local connection. So it's not going to have that sort of national name. It's not going to have a Jose Ortiz or a Tyler Gaffalione or whoever, Flavian Pratt next to his name, Bob. You might be onto something here where even at 2-1 on a morning line, we might get better than that. Maybe a 3 or 7-2 kind of number by the time we get to the gate.
Well, they have been pounding them. Look at those prices. He's been favored in his last 3. He's won all of his last 3. Actually, he got taken down last time. I didn't see that. He got taken down. I had four grandkids graduate this spring. Two
Of course
from
you did.
college, two from high school. One was at North Carolina on a Friday, so I
Okay.
drove down on Thursday, and then on Sunday, one was graduating from Ohio State. My oldest grandson, not feeling bad for his grandfather, came with me on the trip. So on the way back, I go, I got to do something with this kid. So after North Carolina, we spent the night in Charleston, West Virginia, and went to maybe one of the most depressing places I've ever been, the Tri State Greyhound Track. Louis, you would not believe this. They put the dogs in the box. There was no track announcer.
No.
I hear singing. I'm listening to Britney Spears over the PA system. They run the race. I go, we're gonna watch a couple more and get out of here. The next race, I hear a live voice singing as they go into the box. I said to a cop, I go, well, where's that coming from? The guy goes, turn around. It's karaoke night here. They were having karaoke. It was the worst. That was the Friday night. And then on Saturday, we got up and we drove to Cincinnati. I go, we went to a Reds game. I says, we got a couple hours to kill. Let me take you to Belterra. So we went to Belterra, and I said, see that guy coming out of the jocks room? That might be the oldest active jockey in North America, Perry Oots. And he won the race. So my grandson got to see ancient history in the saddle. Tell you something, Perry had a hard time getting his leg over that horse, but he got it over.
I interviewed him last year after he won the Mr. Fitz Award on Monday, and we asked him why he had spent so much of his career in Ohio, and he essentially said, I get to win a lot of races.
Exactly.
That's all he said. I get to win. I want to
win. I covered him when he rode at Beulah Park, which is not even there anymore, in Columbus. My God, this guy rode when a track went out of business, and another one got its name changed from River Downs to Belterra. Yeah. But God, he's still at it. He's something else, that guy. Yeah, right.
Outside of Mark My Words, who do you think you'll look at here? Is there a longer shot? Maybe we can get some, Tommy Drury said one here that comes out of the Queen City at Belterra that I think is really interesting as well. It was a huge number, going the 2 turns over Drygo for the first time. I don't know that that's a repeatable sort of performance for the 7 in here. Are you enticed? When you see those kinds of jumps, are you like me and you're a little wary of that happening again?
Hey, the Queen City Oaks was always a big race when I was covering racing. I would go to River Downs like Labor Day weekend and cover the Cradle and the Bassinet and the Governor's Buckeye Cup. But the Queen City Oaks is a big race, and she went easy in that race, right? So I wouldn't. 9-2 in the morning line. Man, they got 14-1 last time. Holy cow! This horse is just coming around now, so that'd be a good one to stick in there. No, I can see that one.
Yeah, it was her first race as a 3-year-old. She shows up like that in the Queen City, as I mentioned. And frankly, she shot from way back in that field. I went back and watched that race, Bob. She was easily 10 lengths off the leader in that race. Now, the pace in that one, look, if you're going to close into a pace, 23 and 4, 47 and 2, to me, not that fast. And she was still able to make up all that ground. I think she's a real contender tomorrow.
And this guy named the trainer on the 2-horse, Richard Zielinski, I've known him. Yeah. He hangs in there, and Nancy Lavrich, and she owns this horse with him. She bred it. This horse could be decent at a price too. It looks like it's coming around. It went its last. It tried one stake race and probably wasn't ready, and it was in the mud. So, boy, she had like 3 straight mud races. And then when she gets on a dry track, she wins. I might throw that one in too. Rico Suave. Yeah, I throw that in.
Yeah, he looks really good. He's never gone a route of ground, but sprinter route, a very good angle for the Zielinski barn at 20%. So maybe to watch there as well in the 2-hole. Again, local connection, so maybe you'll get that 12-1 and every bit of that. Tyler Gaffalione does ride for Tim Hannon in this race aboard Global Event, who was last seen in that washed-off green carpet, has not won on dirt since April at Thistledown, going 5.5. I'm talking with Bob Roberts. My name is Louis Rabot, and this is the Horse Racing Happy Hour. It's our annual Ohio Derby preview, and Bob made it through whitewater rafting, and so we were able to talk to him yet again this year. Race 10 is the Dr. T.F. Klassen Memorial. This is when I always pause and ask Bob to tell us about Doc Klassen.
Doc Klassen he owned a hospital, medical MD hospital, right around the corner, or OD, whatever it is, right around the corner from the track. And he loves horse racing, and he bred horses. He had a great Ohio bred. One of the second Ohio bred to win the Ohio Derby, a horse named Brent's Prince. And the doc loved horse racing, and they named this race after him. But yeah, for some reason, all the races are named after dead people. I don't like that. We used to have a whole bunch of. In fact, one guy one year in the press box said to me, "Hey, when they gonna name a race after you?" I says, "Hey, you dumbass! Don't you realize you have to be dead to have a race named after you at Thistledown?" I go, "I don't need this. I don't need." And by the way, when it is my time to go, I want it to be a Ohio accredited filly and mare maiden $5,000 sprint, and I want a field of 4 with 2 scratches. I want them to really remember my race. And then he won't bring it back the next year either.
Race 10 is the final of those Ohio certified races. It is the Classen Memorial, $75,000 on the line. We're going sprinting here, 6 furlongs on the dirt. We're on the filly and mare side of things, 3 and up in this spot here. And Bob, an interesting one. Jose Ortiz is again riding for Tim Ham in this spot. But we do get some other interesting ones, including Marco Ibarra's trainee, an Authoritarian Girl in the 10, who I think coming out of that $50,000 claimer, which is a super high level in Ohio, should be a real contender in this one. Where'd you land in the class?
You know what? This is really wide open. And that horse has won 8 of 13 starts at Thistledown. I put a circle around that one. And Louis Gonzalez, man, he's older than dirt, but he's riding the heck out of this horse. So that's where I would go. I like if that's who you like, the 10.
I do like the 10 here. Yes.
Yeah, I like the 10.
Yeah. It's important, Bob, for people when they drop in on weekends like this, and I'm not accusing anyone of anything. We all do this. We bet the big weekend. It's good to know what those different levels are, but an Ohio bred at 50,000 is almost never getting claimed, right? I mean, there's just almost no chance. And so that's a safe spot to put your horse in. And I mean, it's a safe spot to put your horse in and get that win, get that confidence back in her. Yeah.
And I know the owner, Jimmy McDonald, used to train the horse, and then he turned it over to this guy who's his partner now. And they're really knocking it out of the park. When you're winning at 26%, you're really kicking butt. And if you look, who won the TF Classen last year at even money? This horse. So I don't know what kind of price we're going to get on this horse, but boy, this horse loves. So weighing $250,000 running at Thistledown. By the way, you see the 11 horse, Kitsu,
yes,
owned by Danielle Agnello.
Okay.
Danielle Agnello's husband is Carmine Agnello. You want to know who Carmine Agnello's first wife was?
I would love to know.
John Gotti's daughter. Carmine used to come in. Carmine would come into the high rollers room at Thistledown when I was in there, and one day he was mad. He couldn't get the computer to work, and his credit card, he wanted to put money in his account, and he wanted me to help him. He goes, and by the way, he says, he knew I was Italian because my real last name isn't Roberts, Louis. I don't know if you know that.
You have told me this.
Yeah, so it's Randazzo. He goes, and you can't get any good pizza in Cleveland either. I go, I got a place for you. I says, it's on the Far East Side.
I was going to
say. Guy right off the boat. Yeah, right off the boat from Italy, from Sicily. His name is Alessandro. He took a burned out Dairy Queen ice cream store and made it an Italian restaurant. He's the only one in there that cooks. And I live on the Far East Side, but he's still half an hour from me. He's midway between Cleveland and Erie. So I sent Carmine out there. And I said, man, if this guy don't like the food there, I'm in trouble. He come back and says, hey, good choice. He says the sauce was good.
Well, the Little Italy sauce that you can buy around the country from Cleveland is very good. Like, I think people don't know how good that Little Italy is in Cleveland.
Right. No. We got it. We got a lot of Italians here. Yeah. Got a couple of Italian import stores where the Italian beef sandwiches. Oh my God! There's another joint called Santos, which is short for Santo Suso. If you ever fly into Hopkins Airport in Cleveland, you're only 2 exits away. The vodka pasta sauce. Oh God! Now you made me hungry. We're not going to handicap anymore. I got to leave.
We're done. Deal with it, Doc Classen. That's right. We're out of here. A couple of interesting ones there, but Bob and I both landing on Authoritarian Girl, the 10 horse here in the Classen Memorial. Others to watch for sure out of the Klein Barn is a recent winner, Dynamic Vision. In the mud, though, up there, but before did win in the graduation stakes at Mahoning Valley. Almost said something different.
Right.
But at Mahoning Valley before that, I think is interesting at the distance as well. 3 for 5 lifetime, 2 for 4 at Thistle as well. You get McKee, who's not necessarily a local guy, but at least rides
No.
at Thistle once in a while. And so you get,
Right.
I think you get 5-6 to 1 on that horse as well.
No, McKee has like one leg in Kentucky and one leg in Ohio. He's like a Belterra guy who goes to Churchill and Keeneland every so often. No, he's a good rider, good little rider. Been around for a while.
We see him at Turfway too, for sure.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Exactly.
Turfway.
Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yep, that kind of stuff for sure. Now, I think this race, like you said, it might be the most wide open of the series because, for example, I'll give you one that I think is interesting. She just hasn't run well without Lasix in a long time. Is Ms. Kita, who will break from the 7 out of that Gorham barn that you talked about. She's 15 to 1. She looked really good last out. She came running after not running since December at the beginning of June. They're turning her right back around here, Bob. They think they've got something, obviously, if they're running her back in 3 weeks. Second off the bench here. All she's got to do is go sprinting. I think she's going to sit mid-pack and try to make her best run on the stretch there. I think she's really interesting as well.
Yeah, you got to throw her in. Yeah. You like to get 15 to 1. I don't know if you will, but you'd like to get it. Yeah.
You'd like to, maybe not in this field, but yeah, I think you can get 10 to 1 though. I like that.
Have you been, Louis, have you been watching the races from Royal Ascot?
Of course, yeah.
My God, the prices have been through the roof. They're the exactest $1,200 for $1, and oh my God, I can't land on one. But boy, I'm trying. I've tried a few. It's hard.
Field size matters, Bob. Field size matters.
22 feet. Yeah, 22 horses. My God.
There was 27 in a race the other day because it scratched out of 28.
Yeah. Oh my God. My God. 27 horses. That's like the first 4 races at Aqueduct at Belmont at Aqueduct.
Well, here's the thing. They don't have the saddle cloths are all the same color. I have no idea who it is.
I know.
I mean, just
no.
chance.
You better get When they go in the gate, you better figure out what silks you're looking for, right? You got to, that's the only shot you got. By the way, did you see what they did over there? Aiden O'Brien, who dominates the racing, the trainer, had 2 in a race for different owners, and one come up the inside only because the other Aiden O'Brien jockey left the door open for him on purpose. He still got beat in a photo, but the judges says this looks like collusion. They suspended the jock 8 days for trying to aid a horse from another horse from the same stable. 8 days. Christoph Suleiman, one of the top jocks over there.
He is top. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see if he appeals it, but they gave him 8 days and they gave the other jock 3 days for being part of the alleged coup. So there you go. You don't think that happens in America, do you?
Never. No, I've never seen it anywhere.
Yeah.
No.
In the last half hour, you haven't seen it because you've been on with me. Louis, I think the worst thing that ever happened to horse racing, and I mean this, is allowing horses to race uncoupled. I follow my favorite trainer is Chad Brown, and because you let him run uncoupled now, I got to double and triple my betting bankroll to cover all his horses. It's not right. That's not right. I just think that kills too much. I know we have short fields, but tough. Get around it somehow. Not that way.
Late double starts there in race 11. We're talking Thistledown on Saturday for the Ohio Derby with Bob Roberts, previously the plain dealer, and now just to the horse racing happy hour. That's all he does.
That's
Lady
right.
Jacqueline is a $250,000 race for fillies and mares, 3 and up mile and an eighth on the dirt course there. I always look forward to this race, Bob, because I feel like you can make logical cases and good mares and fillies win this race. This is a race with a nice list of winners, certainly going back. I think there are 2 on the inside here, but I talked to and taped with Byron King from Blood Horse on my radio show tomorrow, and we talked about this race, and he thinks Narazuri is a really interesting one because she's been tested in the class of the Apple Blossom, the La Troyenne, and if you look before, her only loss in the other trio of stakes there at Oaklawn, was to Nitrogen. We're not going to hold that against her. A nice drop in class here. I think Narazuri makes a lot of sense.
I got a line through that race, right? I mean, Nitrogen, Narazuri. She got beat 2 lengths. By the way, you know what Narazuri is? Who's the nickname for? It's a soccer team in Italy.
So blue
and black, blue and black, black and blue.
So that's Milan. Which Milan? It is not Inter. It's the other one. AC Milan is the red one. Inter Milan's the blue one.
Bingo.
Bang.
Way to go, buddy.
That?
You got it.
Go. Okay.
I don't know if Michael, I don't know if Michael Iserman, who owns this horse, is a soccer fan or not, but Narazuri, that's Inter Milan. You got it. The black and blue. But yeah, you got to go back to that Bayakoa race where she got beat 2 3/4 length.
Well, and I pointed out to Byron, look who she beat by 6 lengths. She beat Quiet Side by 6 lengths in that race. She's a
Yeah,
nice filly,
right,
man. No, that
right.
stands out to me. Even in a
Yeah.
loss, I thought she looked excellent in that race. And I think if she carries that form at all, she wins on Saturday.
Yeah, but I am worried about the last two starts. What's? I mean, I know they're grade ones,
I'm
but
with you.
what happened there? There's
Yeah,
no equipment change, no drastic. I don't know.
okay.
Well, we'll see. He's. Hey, they convinced Pratt to ride the horse, right? So,
And Cassie's in the Hall of Fame, and I'm not. So yeah, that's all
yeah, and neither. Yeah, well,
right.
Louis, I'm in the Hall of Fame. Did you know that?
How many?
I'm in the Harness Hall of Fame in Goshen, New York. I'm in the writers' corner of the Harness Hall of Fame. How about that? I got put in like 3 or 4 years ago.
Come on, Bob. You got to be in way more than just one Hall of Fame. You got to be like a 3-time Hall of Famer. You're high school or something, or I mean, just come on.
You know what? That's oh my God! I am in my high school Hall of Fame.
Yeah, darn right.
Distinguished student never bouncing a check at Thistledown. I'm in the high school Hall of Fame. Yeah,
Hey,
right.
you show up with pizza at Thistledown, you're in a high school Hall of Fame. That's how it works. You understand me, Bob Roberts?
Yeah. Hey, I think the horse you got to worry about here is the 4-horse Low Country Magic.
Okay.
I think this Horacio De Paz guy, when he ships, look out. He is sharp. He is a sharpie. And Tyler Gaffalione, by the way, I'm going to go over there and try to talk to him. His grandfather, not
I'll
his
give you his
dad,
number, by the way.
his
Yeah.
grandfather, Bobby Gaffalione, was a regular at Thistledown back in the 60s. He
That's
rode
awesome.
at Thistledown and Old Randall Park, which was across the street from Thistledown. Yeah. And his dad was Steve Gaffalione. I think he did most of his riding at in Florida. That's why Tyler's a Floridian. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, that dad ended his career down there. Hialeah, those sorts of courses.
Yes.
And then Tyler
Yes.
picked up and became that summertime, the summertime favorite for most of those Gulfstream races for sure. Low
Right.
Country Magic, of course, did try the Allaire DuPont. What's interesting about her, Bob, is she tried a new tactic last out because there was very little speed in that DuPont. I was there at Laurel that day, so
Oh.
they tried to get her on the front and just see if it would work. What's interesting to me, Bob, and you know the track condition a little bit better, obviously, than I do up there at Thistledown. I think it and Laurel have very similar dirt courses in that I think of them as kind of deeper,
Yeah.
more labor intensive kinds of things. So you see a lot
Yeah.
of 6 furlong races at like a $113, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
At Thistle, that sort of thing. You see that a lot at Laurel as well. So I wonder, look, she showed well in that race. She lost
Right.
to Margie's Intention, who's a very nice horse, frankly. I think you're right. I think you're onto something there. And Tyler was apt to pick up the mount again for Horacio. Interesting that he decided to ship her here. I agree with you.
Interesting you mentioned the track surfaces, Thistledown and Laurel. A guy named Johnny Bano was the track man at Thistledown. 2 years ago, he was offered the job at Pimlico and Laurel, and he took it. And it's Johnny Bano, who was the track man at Thistle, is now the track man at Laurel and soon to be New Pimlico. So how he grades the track in Cleveland, he's probably doing the same thing, looking for the same kind of supplies for the track, and he's really good. He learned under Bill Murphy, who went on to be the general manager at Gulfstream Park and was in charge of the turf course at Hialeah way back when. So Johnny Bano had good teaching, and people say nothing but fine things about him. That's one reason why the Ohio Derby remains a good race. Horsemen can trust the racing surface.
That's right. They do like going up there. I have heard that from them as well. Another one in here that I really liked, Bob, is Peignoir. She will break for Rudy Brisset under Jaime Torres from the 6 hole here. You also see 6-1 for her on the morning line. I think the La Patour was really, really good. She finished right behind Nerazzurri in one of the trio of stakes that we talked about there at Oaklawn Park as well. If she runs better, I think she's got a real shot here. And frankly, she was second by a nose in this race just last year. So
Exactly.
obviously not a problem with the surface. I think she's in decent form right now, especially if we're willing to overlook that last race. Maybe she just doesn't love Churchill right now. I don't know. But yeah, maybe this is and frankly, no offense to everybody, but maybe that allowance field was a little better than this one. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money in those races at Churchill. So once in a while, those allowance fields show up like grade 3s. And so maybe this is a better spot for her.
And I'm impressed you know how to pronounce the horse's name. It's got to be French, right? It's got to be French. You sounded like you pronounce it. Well, he's French, isn't he, Brissett? I'm guessing he is. Well, yeah. I think I'm going to go 2, 4, 6 in a box there. Those were my numbers when I would go to the Greyhound tracks. I didn't want to handicap it, just box 246. But we handicapped this race. 246 in a box, tries and exactas.
Wrap it up. There you go. Let's move on to that Ohio Derby, the grade 3 race there. $500,000 on the line, of course, 3-year-olds in this one. And Bob, I think it's been a minute since we've had a race, an Ohio Derby with a field this robust, frankly, not to make a Robusta joke, but I mean, it is a lot of horses coming out of those higher level races, graded stakes winners, etc. How long has it been since you remember an Ohio Derby field like this with so many Triple Crown, especially alums running it in
It's been a long time. We once had the Kentucky Derby favorite. Air Forbes 1 was the favorite at one Ohio Derby. It was a good field. Yeah. Frank Labasetta was the trainer. But you're right. This is a really loaded field of good horses. How about the fact that the current second, third, and fourth winningest money jockeys in 2026 are in this race? Jose Ortiz, Pratt, and Gaffalione ranked second, third, and fourth behind Arad Ortiz in the Kentucky Derby money race. So these guys are showing up. They want a big piece of that. Oh, what are they going to get? 300,000 of the winner. They're going to get. They're going to get their. They're going to get 30,000 if they can win the race. That's why they're here.
That's exactly why they're there. And Bob, it's exactly why Bob Baffert is here. I imagine. He said to us he was going to be moving a serious string to Churchill Downs, and Bob, he's taking advantage of races like this in what I always call the orbit of the Kentucky circuit, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, those sorts of places, West Virginia that happen to be nearby Kentucky. He's taking advantage of this. What do you make of Desert Gate being in this field? He's obviously shown it in Texas Derby, other places. He's a real contender here. I
think he's the number one contender. And one of the reasons I really like him is there could be there's an Ohio local horse, Jupiter, 6 furlong horse. He'll probably try to go to the front, but Desert Gate looks like the real legitimate speed in this race. I don't know who's going to run with him early. Do you? You see anybody?
Not like he can run. The only other horse that I've seen that I think has a chance to go early, but probably isn't fast enough, is the 6 horse in here, Zinal, who's a local is coming out of Indiana for Jonathan Thomas. Yeah. And the only reason I say that, Bob, is I think Jonathan Thomas thinks his only chance to win this race with that horse is to get the lead and get lucky.
What about Chip Honcho? Don't you think he may go too?
They thought that in the Preakness he wasn't fast enough.
Yeah, you're right. He wasn't fast.
When he got to that level, he just wasn't fast enough. And if the track surfaces are similar at Laurel like they are, and they're so like I think it is, I'm not sure that Chip Honcho is going to love the surface as far as getting out there quickly. I'll tell you the wild card in this one, if he does get the lead, is Robusta.
Okay.
That horse can go forever. I was there at the San Felipe at Santa Anita this year, and that horse just got run down very, very late by, at the time, a very in-form Patente for Bob Baffert. If he wins that race, I think we talk about him very differently. Had an awful Santa Anita Derby and Kentucky Derby. Preakness, nothing to write home about, but how many times have we seen Doug O'Neill just decide to run a race and he picks one of these things off?
Oh, I know.
If he gets the lead, I think he's kind of the game changer in this field. If he does, though, I think Desert Gate will just sit off of him and be good to go.
My note on him is of late chronic gait issues. Bobbled, bumped, broke in. I worry about what's that all about? That jock has sure found success in California after leaving Florida, Jaramillo, right?
Yeah, absolutely. He won the riding title, at Santa Anita Park,
He did win the title? Holy cow, I did not know that.
Fresu won the Hollywood one here, but he won the big one, the Malibu one.
Oh, my goodness. And, of course, we're talking about Calumet Farm, the great old Calumet Farm who bred and races Robusta. So,
well, how about this question for you? The Lexington winner, Trendsetter, is in here for Ben Colebrook. They tried the Peter Pan with him there at Aqueduct. Not every horse loves that track there on Long Island. I think he's a real player here after winning in Lexington.
Yeah, I couldn't leave him out. No, I agree with you. No. Colebrook, he's he's pretty sharp cookie too. You're right.
He is a really sharp.
And this is the jock that was champion in Canada, Kimura.
Yes.
I think. Yeah.
Yep. So Kazushi's out in Kazushi Kimura. He's very likely, by the way, he's not going to be there this weekend, but I think he won the Los Al title last summer at what's called the Los Angeles County meet that they're about to run. And but you're right, he was at Woodbine for a long time, decided to move stateside. Still a young guy, I think at oldest 25, something like that. So he's still got a lot of years ahead of him. But yeah, Kazushi gets a ride here. I think a lot of him as a rider. You know who else he's riding this year? That's at the top of their division is Stark Contrast, who's probably the best 3-year-old turf horse right now. He won the American Turf here at Churchill, the Grade 1 on Derby Day with him, and won the Jeff Ruby Stakes before that with him. So Kazushi can ride, man. That's a guy who's got Grade 1s under his belt, can definitely get that done. So I would not be surprised if that horse is there. I wanted to ask you about a very different runner in this race. They're throwing the blinkers on Bull by the Horns. It's Saffie Joseph Jr., who we'll have on Blood Horse Monday, by the way, this coming week ahead of the Stephen Foster Stakes down here at Churchill Downs. Sends this one up here. Micah Husbands is his go-to at Gulfstream, so they're going to go ahead and ship the entire team. This horse won the Rushaway at Turfway, going 2 turns, going a mile and a 16th. I never know, Bob, and maybe you just know better than I do here. Do Turfway horses run well at Thistle? Is that something that's in your brain at all?
They have in the past, but that, I think it was
surface.
Yes, but it's interesting. One of the reasons this horse is here may not be the main reason, but the co-owner, Mark Corrado, is from Shaker Heights, Ohio. He's a Cleveland guy. He's owned a bunch of horses. When he was at the University of Kentucky, he interned in the summer in the press box at Thistledown. And he would, one of his jobs was to do race results for radio stations, and he'd be near the 8th or 9th race, just about done reading all those payoffs and exactas and tries, and we would moon him, try to make him laugh. So he'd have to start the tape all over again. But he remains a real close friend of mine, and he loves Saffie Joseph Jr. Saffie probably played a part of him sending him here, as he knows that Mark is from Cleveland. I think Saffie, I didn't bring my books up, but I think Saffie either won the Ohio Derby in the past or hit the board in the Ohio Derby. So he knows this race well. Be interesting. I mean, they put blinkers on, try to get him closer earlier.
Yeah. When he did that the Rushaway, he was considerably better than he was, say, in the Preakness. He passed a bunch of horses in the Preakness, Bob, but what good is it if you're passing the 10th place horse, right?
Exactly. Yeah, right.
They gonna help the connections much.
No, you don't get any money. You don't get any money for 6th in the Preakness. We haven't mentioned the winner of the Wood Memorial.
Okay, we got a couple horses. Yeah, so Elvis is an interesting one, and he wins the Wood Memorial, and we have decided on this show we're going to personally upgrade the Wood Memorial, Bob. Now that out of that race, by the way, is the Preakness winner, who finished 5th. Tip Top Thomas finished 2nd, or not Tip Top Thomas, but excuse me. Let me pull up the chart for the Wood Memorial.
Right to party.
Talk to Me, Jimmy. Excuse me. Was the horse that finished, I think, 7th or 8th in this race.
Okay.
But came back to finish a good 2nd in the Peter Pan. Right to Party, of course, did not even run in the Kentucky Derby for trainer Katie McPeak.
Right.
But Oselli, the maiden, finished 3rd in the Wood and finished 3rd in the Kentucky Derby. I wanted to ask you a different question, but we can go to Elvis first.
Yeah.
What do you make of Elvis? And here, are you going to personally upgrade the Wood Memorial?
I hate to do that because it's really been bad. And tell you something else. I'm doing some research now before I start this Equine Rewind, and that little meet at Saratoga for the Belmont, those 4 days, horses shipping from Kentucky dominated. So the New York horses, they're just a cut below in the last few years. So no, I'm not upgrading the Wood Memorial yet. No, I'm still. And last year when Saratoga opened, horses shipping from Keeneland and Churchill dominated early, and they're probably going to do it again. So no, I'm not. I used to love the Wood Memorial. That was the #1 prep race. I don't know what's happened in New York, but they better get it together because they got a brand new spanking racetrack this fall, right?
They got some bills to pay for sure. I wanted to ask you about Oselli.
Yeah.
And I want to ask it in a different way, Bob.
Go ahead.
Whit Beckman's a young guy, and
Right.
I like that he runs his horses the way he does. I even got to ask him right before the Kentucky Derby, because he's in his trainer tree. You know, we have coaches trees in other sports. Because
Right.
he's in his trainer tree, I said, man, this is a lot like a D. Wayne Lucas kind of move. He's my best 3-year-old, so we're going to take shots in big spots. I love it, Bob. I think that's what the sport at its very core is about, is just
Yeah.
you send your best horse to the gate if he's sound
Right.
and go
Right.
for it.
Right.
I love this about Whit Beckman. I just wanted to get your take on that.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't want to hear Sherry DeVoe or Bill Mott tell me about the great traditions in horse racing when they skip the Preakness. I mean, come on already. I remember Mott when he shipped that horse back up to Saratoga. Man, he says he come bucking off the trailer. Maybe. Come on. What do we do? Well, now, what do you think? Should we move the dates of these races? The Triple Crown?
I gotta do this. Here's my problem.
Yeah, we got to do this. Yeah.
Yeah, but here's my problem. Let's say we go to a what would be a logical solution, because so many of them talk about, the post-race injection that they like to give their horses that takes 15 days to get out of their system, whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's say I give you 21 days between races, and I give you 3 weeks between each. Okay, it's still a condensed amount of time. It would still feel like it's difficult. Man, I interviewed Chad Brown before the Derby, and he told me the reason he liked Emerging Market in the Derby was because he got 6 weeks between his maiden race and the Louisiana Derby, and 6 weeks between the Louisiana Derby and the Kentucky Derby. Why would I trust Chad Brown to go ever go to Pimlico? Ever.
Yeah, and his horse, and that's who I bet in the Derby, and at the quarter pole was the see you later. Yeah.
But if he's telling me that 6 weeks is the best time for his horses, why am I just setting that up for him when it's just going to screw Baltimore anyway? Now, I don't know that you can change it, Bob. And by the way, we're going back to a mile and a half at Belmont.
Right.
The 10 furlong thing's done. We're done doing that twice. And so I think more people are going to have to see that 9.5 and go do it.
Some people think you should run the Derby on the first Saturday in May. You should run the Preakness Memorial Day weekend, and you should run the Belmont 4th of July weekend. What do you think of that?
I think no one will watch either the second and third races.
They're watching baseball, huh? Or car racing.
Or nothing. Or the World Cup. I mean, don't. This would be like college basketball saying, you know what we're going to do? We're going to take 2 weeks off during the NCAA tournament and come back because the kids are tired.
That's a good point. I'm with you. I like it. I like it the way it is.
People wouldn't even watch the first 2 weeks of the tournament if they did that. They just wouldn't watch it. But they wait for the Final Four. They would wait.
Well,
and that's what they would watch the Derby and they'd check out. If we're lucky, they watch the Derby.
The problem is accented more because we've had back-to-back trainers decide not to come, and then they win leg 1 and leg 3. It makes it even more of a problem.
At 10 furlongs.
That's right.
Both of those horses do win at those distances, but I think if you've got more traditional Kentucky Derby winners where the 9.5 furlongs makes a ton of sense for them, I think we'll see more people going back to Baltimore.
Are you going to Saratoga this summer?
I'll be there at some point.
We
haven't decided yet. So which one do you go to?
Here's what I do. I go opening weekend, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday of the traditional opening, and then I come back for closing week. I open it and I close it. Yeah, I've been doing that, knock on the kitchen table. I've been doing that for like 10 years now, and I hope to continue to do it. Yeah.
From
my house. Yeah, from my house, Louis, to church to Saratoga, 6 hours, 6.5.
Okay.
I get up, I grab an Egg McMuffin at 6 a.m, and I make the double. So on Thursday, yeah. So. You don't know when you're going?
We haven't picked out a weekend yet. I've gotten to hang out with a different Bob handicapper, Bob Ehalt, of course, our New York guy.
I know the name. Yeah,
been doing things for years.
Yeah,
I will connect you with both Tyler and Bob before you go this weekend and then up to Saratoga, because you need to meet Bob Ehalt. The two of you, oh my God.
Yeah.
If I had you both on the podcast, I'd never talk, which is great.
I wonder if I've met him in the past. How old of a guy is he?
Your age, a little younger, maybe a couple years younger. But
yeah, I bet you I've met him
He's been covering New York racing since the late 70s.
Oh, then I had to meet him. Yeah, because I'm
sure you've been in the same place, same time. Yeah.
Oh yeah, people. Yeah, that rickety ass wooden press box at Saratoga.
Oh,
yeah,
yep.
I went in there a couple years ago. I shouldn't have done it. I went in there. I got totally depressed. There's like 3 .com guys in there and Dave Grenning from the Forum. That's about it. It was very depressing.
Dave's the last of the last.
Boy, he's a dinosaur, huh? Ooh, you got that right.
He's crushing it, though. He's great. He's as good as we've got going. So you've got Desert Gate in the Derby then?
Yes, I'll put him on top. Yeah, I got to put him on top. But I'll pull for my buddies. I'll pull for my buddy's horse. Bull by the horns, though.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. And
I'll tell you, I'm because of the conversation we just had. By the way, I am rooting for Elvis to win here because Riley Mott took his Derby horse straight to Baltimore, or straight to Laurel this year. But, he went
Yeah.
and did it, right? He took Incredible down there. He went for it. So, you know what? I'm going to root for the young guys that are willing to run their horses. So him and Whit Beckman, they both get my votes here.
Yeah. I mean, he's doing a good job.
Bob Baffert runs his horses too, so it's not like he's not a problem here.
Oh, no, I know. No, he don't duck anybody. That's for darn sure. We had a little controversy at the Saratoga meet last week. It looked like a horse came off the rail and maybe bothered another horse. The horse couldn't get by him. And Pratt checked the horse. So I go, well, let me go watch the head on and make sure that what I think I'm watching the head on. They turn for home, and as soon as the head on is going to pick them up, it goes to a Saratoga commercial. You're seeing guys drinking beer and playing cornhole. So Dave Grenning said he's going to look into it, but I've never heard back. It was why would that happen then? And they haven't fixed it because I checked a couple days ago. I'm not a conspiracy guy, but what are we doing here? I don't know. I try to pay attention. And stuff like that, you wonder, what are we doing here? We're betting our money. We need a fair roll for our bucks. So I don't know. You've been doing any good lately? I've been in a slump, to tell you the truth.
I've been playing just fine. I had an unbelievable in-person Breeders' Cup this year. I gave out the winner of the turf. Ethical Diamond, who broke from the outside, was a huge linchpin of my weekend. So I hit that juvenile turf double, which paid 85 to 1. And then he paid 25 to 1 to win. It was the second largest win bet I've ever placed. Right. And I hit another. Oh, on the first day, I mentioned Stark Contrast, who has turned out to be a terrific 3-year-old.
Yeah.
I liked him as a 2-year-old. He won what's called the Zuma Beach out west.
Right.
And came out really well out of that. The race was at Del Mar, and I said, I don't care what his odds are. And that was Kazushi Kimura, by the way. I know the connections here. I know this horse is good. Gestadt's going to win this race, but that's a horse I'm playing underneath 80 to 1 on the exacta.
Oh my, good for you. Did you do any good with the Triple Crown? I didn't.
I did.
Oh, really?
So the trip to Maryland is always very profitable for me, and I don't know why, but we do spend a lot of time. I shouldn't say I don't know why. We do a Road to the Preakness series. So I know all those Maryland horses. I know all those trainers. I know all the connections. I know how the tracks play, that kind of thing. So that one I did really well. Derby week was tough this year, man. That was tough.
Yeah.
It was a really good betting week. We did okay. I was more of a break even over Derby, but Baltimore was real good for me.
Good. Belmont, any good?
Break even. It was okay.
Yeah, I know the guys I hang around with got wiped out. They did not enjoy that day at all. By the way, 20 handicappers.
I played race to race. I did not try the pick 5 thing. I didn't do that.
Yeah.
I played exactas that day. It was much better.
I think that's a good idea. By the way, 20 handicappers in the racing form handicapped the Belmont Stakes. As far as the winner goes, 0 for 20, and only 2 of the 20 had the winner picked as high as second. That's to tell you what about the wipeout of a lot of people on Belmont Day. But hey.
It's amazing that the Derby winner on 5 weeks rest was as disrespected as he was. He was.
Tell me about it.
It's unbelievable.
There's a guy who bets on Express Bet. He put out a sheet for the Derby, and I called my buddy who's in charge of, he takes care of the select bettors. I go, what's his name sheet? He goes, yeah. This guy said that the winner was the most disrespected horse in the race, and he crushed it. Good. He just killed it. So you got to jump on your opinions, right? What the heck?
We have a friend of the show named Danny Brewer, and he says, back a horse and get paid, or have a hunch, bet a bunch is usually.
Have a hunch, bet a bunch. I've heard that phrase. So since you're so smart this spring, I want you to tell me who's going to win the Mexico-South Korea game tonight, huh?
Oh, that's a good one. Where is that game? Are they getting to play in Mexico, their home games?
Yes, and this one would be, I think, is in Guadalajara. Yeah.
All right, I'll take the home team then.
Right. Lou, I when I covered the 1994 World Cup, I got to go to a bunch of qualifiers. So I covered U.S. Mexico in Mexico City, and I'm walking around the stadium, outside the stadium with a guy, and he says, because I'm bald, he says, the sun down here is pretty brutal. He says, you better get a hat before you go in the stadium, ball cap. So I ain't getting USA, and I'm not getting Mexico, but I saw this cute little hat with a goat kicking the soccer ball. So I bought that one. I get in the stadium, I put on the hat, and I look around, and some guy's shaking his fist at me. I go, what's his problem? They go, oh, the hats you bought? That's Chivas of Guadalajara. That's the main rival of the Mexico City team called America.
America,
I put that hat under my seat. Yeah.
And,
and by the way,
think...
we were late to the press conference after the game because we couldn't find the wooden bridge over the moat that surrounds the field, so the fans can't get to. There's a moat around that stadium, about 6 feet deep. I don't know if there's piranhas in there or just empty Corona bottles, but we.
When did you feel less safe, wearing the wrong hat at a Mexican soccer game or whitewater rafting? I gotta know which one was less safe.
I was more unsafe. I was more unsafe in whitewater raft. Are you kidding? Come on, you got to wear a helmet. You got to wear a safety jacket. Are you crazy? Oh my God! I was counting the minutes for that to be over.
Hey, I don't want to cross anybody in Guadalajara either. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like that's not on my list of things to do in life, Bob. I'll tell you.
And by the way, I went to a live soccer game in Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Real Plata?
We went for we couldn't go. I couldn't get tickets for Boca or River Plate. It was Banfield against Racing, and they said, by the way, relax, because after the game, you're locked into the stadium for a half an hour until the visiting fans get down the road. Huh? That's the serious stuff down there, pal. So you behave yourself at those games.
That's exactly right. Well, he's Bob Roberts. He will behave himself at Thistledown this weekend for the Ohio Derby. Bob, I mean it. I love this visit every year. We should probably do way more of these. I'm sure I've said that before as well.
That's okay.
But I am glad you are having a great time. I'm glad all the grandkids are graduating from things and everything else. And so congratulations on all the success, the family success. No, but seriously, I've got young kids. I've got 2 high schoolers. I've got a 9-year-old, and a 12-year-old son. And
God bless you.
Yeah, I get it. But your legacy's real, man. That's great.
I had 4 daughters. I kept trying for a son, and I stopped after 4. So 4 daughters, Catholic school, kindergarten through college, all had braces. I paid for 3 big Italian weddings. How the hell do I have any money to bet horses, huh?
And you said high roller room. I don't even know how that happened.
Well, I'm in there because they let me in. They feel sorry for me. That's why I'm in there. And by the way, the 4th one has got a steady boyfriend. I told her, I says, hey, either get married or tell me no, because the money I've got for your reception. I'm gonna go buy a racehorse. I'm gonna go buy a racehorse. Yeah. Make up your mind here.
Yeah, we got horses to run in 4-horse fields, people. What are we doing here, right?
Thank you. Well, you got 2 in high school.
I got 2 in one in Catholic high school.
Let me know. And these all went to Catholic colleges too. They're all Jesuits. Loyola and John Carroll in Cleveland.
Jesuits.
Yeah. What is that? You're in Louisville, right? Are you in Louisville?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's what's the big Catholic high school there?
We got 3 boys' schools and 4 girls' schools. St. Xavier.
Wow. That's the one I thought, yeah.
And Francis de Sales. And then the girls are Mercy, Assumption, Sacred Heart, and Presentation Academy.
Right.
Nice.
Well, must be in the bloodlines. One of my granddaughters just graduated. She played on 3 consecutive state champion volleyball teams. How about that? She's got the bling to show for it. Yeah, how about that? Got any jocks in the family?
No.
Teach them how to read the form. Don't worry about it.
Oh, that part I'm not worried about. They definitely can do that. I've got a paddock picker in my house. My 14-year-old, he doesn't need the form. He just goes.
Really?
He knows. He's different. I can't.
Well, I got to come down there, or you got to come up here. We got to meet somewhere. All right.
Sounds good to me.
Go for day of the races. All right.
Well, why don't you come to the Indiana Derby this year? We'll see you on July 11th. There you go.
That's Saratoga weekend. That's opening week of Saratoga.
Well, don't do that then.
But I do want to get to that track this year. I've never been. You go more than once to that track?
Oh, yeah. I'm up there at least 5 times a year, yeah.
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick an open weekend or a couple of weekdays, and I'm going to come up to, because John Dooley used to be the track announcer at Thistledown.
Yeah, look for a Wednesday when they're running a bunch of stakes races, and I'll meet you.
Okay, you got a deal. Buddy.
See you,
All
Bob.
right. Take care, pal. Bye-bye.
All right, at Railbird Roberts for Bob Roberts as I do the final of this episode here from my kitchen. I don't have any power, so that's why I'm up here. I'm Louis Rabeau. This has been the Horse Racing Happy Hour. We'll be back at it tomorrow morning on Rabeau & Co. on ESPN 680 and 105.7, 1020 start time Eastern time for Byron King and his thoughts on the Ohio Derby. Same thoughts, same card, and the same races that we just talked with Bob about there. Always appreciate our conversation with Bob. We appreciate our time with you as well. Again, SoCal Saturdays tomorrow, 2 o'clock. We move our attention to Cypress and Los Alamitos for the San Bertrand and get you excited for that. His name's Bob, and I'm Louie. We'll catch you next time on the Horse Racing Happy Hour.